Hey guys, welcome back to Zero's Hobbies and thank you for stopping by again. Really appreciate it. Today we're doing a quick unboxing and I'm going to give you guys my opinion on this, the Warhammer 40k Space Marine board game. This is based on the video game that was out, and then there's now a part 2, and that is Lieutenant Titus. And this game comes with Lieutenant Titus and a bunch of other miniatures, and a game board and dice and everything you need to play this game, and it's only 40 bucks. That doesn't sound right, right? Anyway, it's a Target exclusive here in America. So if you're here in America and you got 40 bucks and you're interested in trying 40k, if you're not, sorry. But all right, let's get over to the table and see what comes inside this package. Sit tight. Alright guys, here it is. This is the Warhammer 40k Space Marines, the board game, featuring Captain Titus, or now Lieutenant Titus, and some Tyranid. If you look at the back of the box here, you get a pretty good amount of miniatures for $40, man. So it being a Target exclusive and all that's pretty cool. I mean, we very rarely get that kind of stuff, you know, outside of the UK, but there it is. You get 20 gaunts. It looks like you get 2 Ripper Swarms, because they come with the gaunts on the sprues, and you get 1 Lieutenant Titus. Now, I got this box, and it's $40. I already have a Tyranid army, and I have a ton of Termagants, but what's a few more gonna hurt? I have a Trevagon, so she makes them like every round. She can make Termagants, but I really wanted Captain Titus. Now for $40, dude, you can't. This guy's gonna be $35 to $40 by himself. This box set of Termagants is gonna be $40 to $50. So $40 value for a starter game is not a bad deal. Let's take a look at the inside. All right, so we get a rule book or handbook, and it's made from that thin card, but that real glossy, you know, the same thing that the Speed Freaks game was made out. Most of their games are made out of this. Like the smaller games are made out of this kind of pamphlet, and it's very cool because it gives you you get some really cool artwork, and supposedly this is artwork that's not anywhere else. So you're only going to see this from this box. It gives you instructions on how to build the miniatures. You know, gotta have that. There you go, more miniatures. Look at that. Look at all those Termagants. Brah, you can't go wrong. Some more, and it goes into depth about the Space Marines. Not too much depth, because you know they got to leave stuff for the Codex, but you get a good understanding of the Space Marines and the Imperium and all that stuff. And you know, again, we got some cool artwork. Look at that. That's pretty badass. Man, it just made a poster of that. Then you got the Tyranid. You get a brief history of the Tyranid and where they're from. Again, some more amazing artwork, and you know, obviously the painted miniatures look great. Look at this big double spread. That's cool. That is pretty cool. It's a Imperial fleet fighting off a Tyranid invasion. That's cool. And then it gives you the rules of the game, or rules of engagement, which, from what I understand, this is as basic as 40k as you can get. So you're gonna basically learn how to play 40k at minimum with this game set, which is really cool to me, because it's like $40. You get everything you need to play this game, okay, and it gives you everything you need to start playing with instructions and stuff like that, right? So if you think about it, right, like if you're a veteran 40k player and you were looking to expand your Tyranid army, or just get that special character for, you know, for your army, I'm gonna turn him into an Imperial Fist. I know, blasphemy, but what are you gonna do? I don't use Ultramarines. Look at, you got a training scenario. Gig walks you through the basics of how to move your models, what they can and can't do, things like that, and also combat, of course. You know, you've got another scenario called Objectives Secured, which is really cool. Another scenario, Hold the Line. Oh my God, that's pretty cool. I'm gonna play some of these. Maybe me and my son will get into them. Then you got, you know, an expansion on the miniature range. Of course, you know, Games Workshop obligatory commercials. You got a paint set. This is a cool paint set, but it's only cool if you're going to play Paint Space Ultramarines. Just know that. Another Tyranid paint set. Again, great if you're painting the Tyranid in these colors. You know, like if you're like me, where I have a completely different color, then most of those won't really matter. You know, and then you've got like expansions on different, like the Recruit and the Command Edition of the game. You also get the data cards for the models, which is really, really cool. And then you get your board. You know, I don't know how big it is. I think it's like 3x3 or 2x2 or something like that, or 3x2. But anyway, it's got the Adeptus Mechanicus industrial flooring, which is so cool because I have some Adeptus Mechanicus scenery and I really want to get some more. And I know it's late, but I should have thought about it sooner, but I didn't. But anyway, you got this really cool card stock. I've got a bunch of these now, but they're great. You could just pop them out. You don't need, you know, a whole table made of scenery. You know what I'm saying? Like this is perfect to get started with. Then you've got your miniatures, of course. This is Captain Titus. Let me see if I can move this over for you guys. So here's Captain Titus, or Lieutenant. I keep saying Lieutenant. Now, if some of you don't know, maybe you do. Obviously, this is the guy from the Space Marines video game. He was in the Space Marines 1, and now it's going to be released as Space Marines 2. But it's a pretty cool miniature. It's very new. It's 20,000 or 2023. This model was printed, and the gaunts are the same. They were printed in 2023, so these are the new gaunts. You can see multiple sprues, multiple gaunts, and there's some rippers, you know, that you can add. You can create your ripper bases with. It's pretty much the same thing. More sprues, more gaunts. So you get a pretty good amount of models, again, just for $40, man. Now, you can't pass that up. You get your dice, of course. I don't care for these dice. I actually just throw them into my D&D bag, the D&D dice, because you know D6 damage is hotness. You got all your bases. The only thing, I mean, I hear a lot of people complaining about this, but okay, so these objective markers and this movement marker is cardboard. It's made out of this cardboardy stuff. Okay, so you got to cut them out. And a lot of people were like, oh, blah, blah. But you know what? I mean, $40, dude. You're getting this whole game for $40. You cannot argue. Then you get an actual ruler, measurement ruler, and it's the same one you get in all the other games. So I mean, they included as much as they could for the price value, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, you can't get a better deal. You know what I'm saying? Like, you would, if you were to buy these models separately, and that board, and these dice, and that little ruler, try and find that little ruler. I don't even know if you can get that little thing separately. Maybe you can on eBay. You know, but for the price, you just can't beat it. All right, let me put this stuff away. We're going to build these models, and I'll get right back to you guys. Sit tight. All right, here we have the contents of the box. The Space Marines board game. You've got Lieutenant Titus. We've got 2 Ripper Swarm bases, and we've got 20 Termagants. Now, the Termagants, there are only 10 molds, or 10 different poses, and then it's doubled up, obviously. And the same thing, like there's only 2 molds of each of these. I do like the newer style of putting them together, because you attach 2 to each other and then to the base. Same thing on this side, and you can mix and match whichever 2 you want to put together. But I think it's pretty cool because back in the day, you just got like a termagant or a ripper swarm with a little, one ripper with a little flat piece of base. And I made them work, you know what I mean? But there was never really any definitive like how many to put on a base, so I would put 5 at the most, because there were so many in the termagant boxes, and I have so many termagants. So I mean, 4 is a good number, and you see the way they're placed, it's not terrible. You can still get in there with, I didn't glue any of this stuff down, so I could do the bases separately, because I want to do that with all of them. They have little pegs in there, and I just push fitted them in. They do go together pretty easily. They are push fit, so that's kind of nice. There wasn't any problem with the termagants. You just do 2 at a time in each step, and you're good to go. I would suggest cutting them both out at the same time, cleaning them up, and then just putting them together. I glued mine in the joints. Like, I just put a little dab of glue in the joints and a little dab of glue, in the connection points, like right here, here and there, just because I want it to be a little bit more, not that it's not solid, it's actually solid. I'm just paranoid, and I, if I can, I glue everything. Now, Lieutenant Titus, which is, I said it earlier, and I said I was incorrect. It is not Captain Titus. It is Lieutenant Titus, which is what it should be. Now, he was a bit trickier because, and I don't know this for 100%, I don't have like scientific evidence, but in my opinion and my experience, this plastic, the plastic that he is sprued on, is completely different from this plastic. This is like typical Games Workshop plastic. This feels a little bit flimsier. Now, there's little joints, like he has little pegs on his arms that go into the torso before you put it together. I broke one, just trying to set it in there because it was so tight. Giggity. It snapped. But the nice thing was that the way it is designed, I didn't really need the peg. I pretty much was able to just glue the arm in space. Like, it was enough, there was enough material in the way it was cut, like the hole that the torso created and everything. There was enough of it that I could just slot this in and it was fine. I just recommend being very careful when push fitting the arms, because they're the pegs that are connected to the arms are very flimsy. Same thing with the leg one. Like, it's a little flimsy, so you just got to be a little careful. What I did was I started putting liquid cement in the joints, and then it just kind of helped lubricated the joints so that it was able to be put together a lot easier. But he's pretty cool. He's a cool little figure. Not sure what I'm going to do with the bases yet. I've seen some of the footage from the Space Marine game, or the video game, Space Marine 2. And like the first place that they show, or at least in the demo, was like you're in a ruined city. And I kind of like that. But the tiles were like pale colored, like, cream colored, or marble even, maybe marble. But I don't know if I want to do all of that for this. I probably will just base him normally. I gave him the helmet over the face in hopes that I could make this into an Imperial Fist, but I realized later that it has a very tiny little Ultramarine symbol there, which is fine. I could score that off and just make him an Imperial Fist guy. But I have a lot of lieutenants in my Imperial Fist, so I'm actually thinking I'm going to paint this guy as an Ultramarine and just leave it at that. I'll leave him as an Ultramarine, and he'll be forever connected to this game. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I will paint my Tyranid, or I will paint the Tyranid as I paint the rest of my Tyranid army, which I have a huge Apocalypse Tyranid army. So I'm going to paint them the same way, but they'll still be, you know what I mean? I will design the bases so that I recognize, okay, these guys belong to the Space Marine game. And, again, this is a really good game to get started on Warhammer 40K if you're really interested, or if you want to be an ambassador for Warhammer 40K to a friend without overwhelming them. This is probably a really great entry into that. Other than that, listen, for $40, This set is awesome. Look at this. This is the board you get with it. You know what I mean? And it's just as good as any of the other cardstock boards that they send out with their games. So it's not bad. You know what I mean? It's a pretty good deal for what you're getting. And he is going to be released separately. I already saw the cover work and stuff like that. And, you know, unless they release him for like $10, he's going to be lieutenant price. So he'll probably be around $30, $25 to $30, depending on, you know, where you're at. You know, so considering what he's going to cost, this is a pretty good box set. You might as well just, if you're here in the States, you can grab them. If you're not in the States, maybe find a friend who is in the States that can grab it for you. But shipping overseas is going to be ridiculously expensive, almost not worth it. So good luck, my friends over on the other side of the pond. But there you go. Like I said, I think overall worthwhile for the purchase. $40 is a killer price, considering those Termagants is probably going to be like $38 in a box by themselves. If they do the push fit, if they do these push fits, which they probably will. I'll know when I look at the Leviathan box set, and I'll know right away if it's going to be pretty much the same thing. But you know, we'll let you know. All right, guys, there you go, man. Space Marine board game from Target exclusive with Lieutenant Titus and the Termagants. As always, thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, share, you know the other mumbo jumbo. And we'll see you in the next one.